Hello and welcome. In this video here, we're going to battle chess.com bot Miguel, rated 1900. And if you've seen some of my other videos, you see where I'm going to chess.com and battling through the bots and working my way up to the lower rated masters. And so this game here ended after 67 moves. I played the black pieces and ended in this position. And we'll get to the game and I'll show you how I got there and give you some tips and tricks, and I'll show my mistakes and good moves and bad moves like in all my videos. I always show them just as they happened, and hopefully this analysis helps. So I played at a 90% and Miguel played at an 83%, and let's go through the moves. I want to show you something with this opening again here. So we start off like this perk defense, and so if you've seen some of my other games, I love to do this. I know the computer says it's an inaccuracy, and the computer knows better than I do for sure. I'm sure there's something else going on over here, but I saw this in a Robert James Fisher game, a Bobby Fischer game. I saw him do this and I was like, huh, interesting. And I really like doing this. And I know if you've seen some of my other videos, you're probably like, man, this is like the third time this guy's done this opening. Well, try it out. See what you think. Go to chess.com, battle one of the bots, and try this out at some point and leave a comment below. I'd be curious to know how it works out for you. Try it sometime, especially with these bots. I really encourage people to get out there and try things. And the big thing about these openings is there's so many variations. Honestly, I don't remember all the names and stuff. It's too much for me. Just remember the basics. Control the center, develop your pieces, get them out there and get them working together. That's the thing. One piece by itself, even the queen, can't do a whole lot. You need some help from another piece, as we're going to see in the end game here with this. So, okay, let's get to it. So again, it's just a battle of yin and yang. I'm trying to control the center. The opponent, Miguel 1900, is trying to control the center. And there is some dangers with getting your queen out too early. You better have a pretty good attack, or otherwise you're going to end up messing about with your king and you're going to miss all your development. So, okay, so I'm just trying to even up this, protecting this square here. So, okay, let's keep this going. Tag. We'll take that exchange. And computer said that was an inaccuracy. Okay, I thought it was a pretty good move. It kind of flustered me whenever I was playing the game. But like I said, I'm no grandmaster. I hope to be one day. But anyway, all right. So did retreat. And the knight takes. I was expecting this to take, but okay, took with the knight. So now I'm going to take this, and this is what's scary, is I'm exposed. My king is exposed, and so I have a plan for that, and that is this. The computer says a mistake, and this would have developed a piece, and so that would have been better. I wanted the queen to take. And so there was a little bit of hope in my strategy, which is terrible. Hope is a terrible strategy in chess, but it wasn't completely hope. I was, if this happened, I was going to take now. I was just doing it a little bit in a different order than what the computer said. So my idea was, so after this, I can develop one of these two pieces, either the knight or the bishop. I decided to use the knight because I wanted to attack this pawn. It's in my territory. It's on my side of the board. I wanted to get it out of there. So that was my reasoning for using the knight. The trade-off is my bishop is blocked in a little bit. So actually a lot, not a little bit. So yeah, I think here I should have fanchettoed. The computer wanted me to get this pawn out of the way, get my bishop here, and I can fanchetto and start aiming down here. That would have been the better. I pushed this pawn up because this pawn was making me nervous. That's why I did that. Computer says a mistake. And now here's the problem. When I take with my knight, now I have an isolated pawn. Looks like my opponent and I are even, but I have an isolated pawn, so that's no good for me. I like to mess up my opponent's pawn structure, but I don't like to have my pawn structure messed up. So, okay, so now this works out to where I say, hey, you know what? If I got an isolated pawn, so do you. So let's keep this game going. Computer says, yeah, you know, this is a little bit of a development, but not really much. It would have been better to get this. This knight's really not doing anything. He's controlling these squares, but so what? It would have been better to come out here and attack this pawn. If the pawn would have got pushed down, I could take. I cannot retake because my bishop's here. Actually, it would have been here. So, yeah, definitely computer pointed that out. I missed it in the game, but after seeing this review, I realized I should have done that. But okay, let's keep this going. And so these pawns cause a problem for me. I'm afraid they're going to promote to a queen or something. So, all right, I'm trying to take care of those. Now here I'm wanting to do an exchange. Computer says it's an inaccuracy. It says, hey, are you ever going to do anything with this knight? So just overlooked it in the game. I totally overlooked it. But that's okay. Just keep the hammer down and keep trying. And I was really expecting an exchange here. Computer says that was a blunder, so take. And now here's, I'll show you this next move. So I want this bishop to move somewhere. I want it to get out of the way. So say it goes there or something. This is what I'm eyeing. I want to go check, have the king get out of the way, and then I want to take this rook. That's my goal. And I want to get this rook up here to clean out some of these pawns. Get them out of the way. Maybe I can get this guy promoted. Okay. So that was my thinking. Did not happen as such. But now, Miguel and I are even on the pawn. We both have a major piece. From time to time, especially if you're stuck in a game, just stop and evaluate the pieces. Okay, we both have one major piece. I have one minor piece. So I am up I'm up a whole minor piece. Let's get to the end game. Let's clear out these pawns. Let's get to the end game. I'm going to love it if I can get end game up a piece like this. Okay, so now this is a little scary. If you notice, I'm laying down the hammer. I'm attacking. If this rook comes down here, it's check, but because of this bishop, it's not mate. I hate it that I'm going to tie up a bishop just to defend my king. I'd rather have my bishop out here doing stuff, That's the idea. But instead, I'm going to use the bishop to defend. And that's exactly what happens. So now Miguel says, I ain't letting you have that pawn, no way. So now I'm going to try to own this long diagonal. Where'd my mouse stop working again? Okay, there it goes, sorry. And, 1900 is a tough yellow. Miguel's not going to just sit back and let me take that. So I'm back. I thought I'd try. Okay. So now I'm back to defending again. I like to be on the offensive here. So I'm going to give some more room back here, I'm going to open this up a little bit here. And now I look a little hypocritical by blocking that off, but I realize I got to get my king into the game on further evaluation. It's scary to do in the end game to get your king involved, but you got to do it. Get your king out there, get that king involved. Okay, so now I'm thinking, ooh, I'm going to get me a rook. All right. But then I quickly remembered, oh yeah. So, but I'm going to attack that anyway because I own all this diagonal. So that's protected by this bishop. So, okay. Did a pawn exchange, and I still own this file here, the A file. So this pawn is protected. So Um, now this king is getting a little overworked. I don't have the freedom to move him anymore because he's protecting this and he's protecting this. So my king is starting to huff and puff here. I gotta do something. So let's clear out these pawns. Okay, let's. I'm thinking I wanna promote something to a queen here. So one thing about this position is right now these pieces are pretty secure. This pawn is protected. This pawn is protected by the king. This is protected by the king. But I do have to be careful because these two pieces can work together and destroy what I've got going on here. So I have to be careful. Okay, so now my idea is I want to go here is what I'm trying to do. But my opponent says, no, I'm going to cause some problems for you. So now I see an opportunity for a fork because I own this square with two pieces, with the bishop and the rook. So if I go here, it's a fork. So let's simplify the game here. And there it is. So now I really need to get that king into the game. Now when you're in this position, your ideal position is to get your king on top of your pawn. I've seen games where people will keep their king, back a little bit and kind of catch up to the pawn, then move the pawn, then get the king to catch up again. Get that king on top of the pawn, and I'll show you why here in just a minute. Okay, so now I just need to dog a move, just kind of there. Now it's your turn. You have to move the king. I guarantee you, Miguel does not want to leave this spot, but he has to. So he's got to make a move. So now I've got the king cut off because I own all these squares, but these front three are the significant ones. Okay. So now, computer says I should have pushed my pawn. Again, this is just a turn order thing. But I have lost chess puzzles because I do this, and the computer says you're wrong. And I'm thinking, how is this wrong? I'm going to queen. Because they say, well, make the assumption that the king is not going to come over here like this. Go ahead and move this. And I don't know. Let's look at this again. So that's what I did. Computer says, that was an excellent move, but it wasn't the best. And I've lost chess puzzles because of that. And it's so frustrating. So anyway, here we go. So now I've got this. It's just a matter of time here now. And I did get fortunate with this game. I pushed my luck in the opening a little bit with those queens lined up. Okay, so now I've got check and I got my queen. I normally don't play this well against a 1900. I did get a little fortunate with that opening, I confess. But I've, spent a lot of time trying different things with the opening. Now here, my queen owns this and this, so, and this too. I'm just creating a small box for the king. My opponent's king can only just kind of mess around here. And I'm just going to try to make this box smaller and smaller and close in. But the queen by herself can't do it. It takes the aid of another piece. And so that's what I got to do. That's why I bring in this king into the game. Okay, so now I've got all this closed off. All the king can do is hop around over here. And now be careful. Watch for stalemates. Watch for stalemates. I've had games just like this where I should have won. You'd be surprised how quickly I can screw it up and either lose or get a stalemate or something like that. Okay, so let's keep it going. Yeah, I should have just went there, obviously, but okay. That was just a mistake on my part, or not a mistake, but just a little bit of an inaccuracy. Okay, so I still got a square, and the king can go here too, but then it's mate. But just making sure that king does not run out of squares, and there's mate. So remember, the big takeaway from this video is get your pieces out there, control the center, work them together. Get those pieces to work together, and in the middle of the game, try to get just a little bit ahead. That's the key. And once you're ahead just a little bit, keep trading down and get into that end game where you're just up just by a little bit. That is what I keep in mind when I play chess. You know, how often do I keep that in mind? Let's see, once in a while, something about a blue moon or something. No, every time, every time. So I hope that helps, and thank you so much for watching. If you like, please like and subscribe, and check out some of my other videos. I think you might find them interesting. If you try that opening, that Bobby Fischer thing that I saw a few years ago, and yeah, leave a comment below. I'd be curious to know how it works out for you. Hey, thanks a lot. Have a good day.